Hi everybody, how you doing today? My name is Sherry, and my channel is mostly about content about having ADHD. Um, I am doing a 30-day experiment. So today is day 3, and what I am doing is I am chronicling my progress as somebody with ADHD. I have recently taken a leave of absence from my job because of burnout and for health and mental health reasons. And I have found myself over the last couple months of falling into a rut, and my symptoms have gotten pretty bad, which I was kind of hoping to prevent, but it happened anyway. So I figured I'm going to use this as an opportunity. I have pulled myself out of these ruts before. It's really hard if you have ADHD to do that. And so if you can relate to this and you have trouble holding a job, dealing with your symptoms, keeping track of time, dealing with your house being a mess, especially if you're in a break right now, like in between semesters, or you lost a job and you're in between looking for another job, subscribe to my channel. My first few days of this journey, I look terrible. I feel like it's probably unwatchable. They seem a little long, but I do end up covering a lot of different topics. So if you're patient and any of this relates to you, let me know. And if there's any specific aspects of ADHD you would like me to focus on or do videos on specifically, let me know. I am going to start having little shorts soon, but I wanted to put this up, and hopefully this will help you guys. So another thing, so if you're interested in seeing me improve over the 30 days, because if I didn't do this, honestly, I was getting to a point where it was going to become a serious mental health situation, and it's not good for me. And I was thinking, you know what? I isolate myself. And the people that I have met from the public during my job, I work in customer service, that also have ADHD, they also isolate because they're embarrassed. I relate. And it's super discouraging. It's super embarrassing when you feel like you can't even do basic stuff right, but you're highly intelligent in other ways and you don't know why. You're not crazy. You're not broken. You just have some challenges, and each person's ADHD is a little different. So it's a process sometimes, especially if you're newly diagnosed, and we have to figure out what the owner's manual is for your brain. So I will be posting this in my 30-day journey because I am now on day 3. I'm not sure if I'm going to be posting much today, but as far as my progress, the first day I wasn't feeling good and I rested because I felt like I was coming down with a cold, so I got nothing done. I was really discouraged because I lost chunks of time during that, which is really makes you feel crazy. And then yesterday, I started getting a little bit more done. And I did exercise. I made sure I drank water. I had some healthy foods. I kind of just had junk food for dinner. I had ice cream. So I'm not perfect, but we're going to keep trying. One of the things that I have heard about ADHD is it is persistence over consistence. So it's really hard for us to be consistent. So whatever thing you try, just know it may work for a little while, and then you might have trouble with it, or you might have to try a few things. But Don't feel like you have to reinvent the wheel. Okay. Now, I am not, just for disclosure, I am not a licensed clinical social worker. I'm not a licensed mental health professional in any way. I'm just an adult who has ADHD. I'm a late diagnosed woman. I was diagnosed at 25, which for me was 25 years ago, so it was a long time. I can't believe it was like half of my life ago. But I am just now learning things that I didn't know because when I was diagnosed, it was the Y2K era. So I thought I knew a lot. And now that I'm older and I'm struggling with employment and some of those old issues are coming back up, it's like I'm having to relearn it all over again and it's exhausting. So I figured I'd chronicle my journey on here, and I know that there's going to be somebody out there that it helps. And also, this helps me. If I know that I'm going to come on here and record a video every day, it's going to help me have accountability. So you guys watching these videos and interacting with me, if any of this is useful, will help me to be accountable and will help me improve myself. And anything you share with me or have questions will help me to help you. And we don't have to do this by ourselves anymore. Pretty soon, hopefully, I can get, I just need 12, maybe 11 people now, because I had somebody who said they subscribed. I am at 38, 39 subscribers. And if I can get to 50, that will be amazing because I can start doing lives with you guys every day and we can start talking about this stuff. I'm not a counselor, but I do encourage you, if you think that would be useful for you, it has been immeasurable. But the counseling alone wasn't enough. And I can tell you all about my story as well. It's a long story. For those of you that I have met briefly in text in Genevieve's live stream today, she does have some videos, and I have some videos too, of lives that she and I did together. And if you check the folder that I have that says the my story, I think that's what it's called, my story, look for the one that has me and Jen. And then you can see me talking to her when I first met her a few months back, and I tell my story a little bit. So you can get an idea of what it's like for me. As far as things that I can share with you guys going forward, I can share all the tips of things that have helped me over the years. I have certain planners, which I did find, because yesterday I'm like, I don't even know where my planners are. Oh my gosh. I'm constantly losing things. I have trouble keeping time. I have time blindness. It is real. You're not crazy. You're not alone. And we can do this. We can do this. And I think the level of community, just, being on YouTube now, me starting a channel now, and talking with some of you guys has helped me more than you can even know. Even like some of my friends in my personal life, who I have since found out also have ADHD, I just can't tell you how much help it is. Because before that, I didn't have anybody around me I could talk to that was like me. So when I was thinking about all of these things I perceived as failures, like trouble with different jobs, God, that does such a number to your self-esteem. It makes you feel awful. And you shouldn't feel awful. And if this is something you're hearing for the first time, you probably are feeling like, yeah, right. I would like to just hold a job. Can you just make it stop? Well, we can't make the ADHD go away. And you can't make yourself neurotypical, which is what other people are that don't have ADHD or autism or OCD. We can talk about what neurotypical versus neurodivergent is. You're basically born with a different brain. But you know what? It's been suspected that people like Einstein and Nikola Tesla probably had autism or ADHD, and maybe all of Silicon Valley, a lot of tech people, a lot of inventors. we would not have the society today if it wasn't for people like us, period. So even though you and I might not be Einstein or Tesla, like we may not have that kind of gift, we're important. And the world needs all of us. Unfortunately, a lot of workplaces, a lot of environments, and the rules of how to interact with each other, the social differences, they're pretty much designed for neurotypicals. And so sometimes we can get the short end of the stick and then we don't understand why. So please tell your friends and family, anybody who has ADHD, to subscribe to my channel. And I desperately would love any feedback you guys have of things that you need that I can learn for you. I'm not going to be able to help you guys with everything because I struggle as well. But if you also want a sense of community and belonging and knowing you're not crazy, knowing you're not stupid, you're not lazy, you're not broken, this is where it's at. I would love to grow a community on here. And I do encourage you guys, if you want to look at other content creators on YouTube as well in the community for ADHD or autism or both, which they call ADHD, look around because this is the first time in my life, just since I think June or July, that I've seen other people like me. And it's freaky because I thought I was such a weirdo. And then I found a scene, like an ocean of other weirdos. We're not weirdos. Um, so refreshing. And it's so nice to be in a place where there are other people like us who are accepting. You don't have to feel sorry anymore. And hopefully we can learn some of this stuff together. I still struggle. So as far as this being day 3 for me, I did a lot of recording yesterday. So today I'm feeling kind of tired from that. I almost started recording earlier while I was doing cleaning and stuff, but I'm just tired. I don't know about you guys. Please tell me if you do have ADHD. Comment below. Let me know. Is your diagnosis ADHD? There's 3 kinds now. It used to be in the 90s and the 2000s, categorized in the DSM, I don't remember which volume, Diagnostic Statistical Manual. It's what psychiatrists, and mental health professionals use to diagnose. But they've since changed the criteria for the diagnoses. So it used to be ADHD if you were absent-minded and have trouble focusing, and ADHD for hyperactivity, right? But now it's all considered an umbrella. It's all considered ADHD, which is, I thought was kind of dumb. It's frustrating. But some people are both. So I think that that's why they added that. So under the umbrella of ADHD, you have ADHD inattentive, which is me. You have, primarily inattentive. So you may not be hyperactive. You may not be impatient. You might just be like me, where you could just space out all day and lose time, and hours can go by and it feels like 10 minutes. And what happened with my day? Then there is combined, and there is ADHD primarily hyperactive, where maybe you don't have the inattentive spaciness as much. You're more on it, but you cannot sit still. You are impatient. You're going, hyper. So there's different struggles for different people. And this is really good for us to talk about together. So if you're primarily inattentive, like me, I have depression as well. It's another diagnosis I have. And also that too, people who are neurodivergent, people who have ADHD, autism, or both, have a much higher percentage of chance to have a comorbidity also occurring, mental health issue, such as being diagnosed with depression, bipolar, or anxiety. It could be generalized anxiety disorder. It could be social anxiety, which makes sense for all of us. You know, I get exhausted from peopling, even though that's what I call it. And I love people so much. And then I don't know if any of you guys relate to this. When I'm working with the public, I get excited and I almost act hyper and I act very, very extroverted because I'm so happy and I care so much, but I drain my battery. So there's a lot of issues besides just basic functioning, like being able to focus, losing track of time, executive dysfunctioning, which we can talk about that. Have you ever had analysis paralysis, where you'll see a list of things to do and you have no idea where to start? Like, what thing on the list is the most important? And this can mess you up at work. This can mess you up at home. And so you've got all these things swirling in your brain and you have no way to determine which is more important. You're not crazy. It's part of what we have. We could talk about that. That's executive dysfunction or poor executive functioning. And that is really interesting. As far as time blindness, that's another issue with ADHD. And I found from two different sources, two other things that contribute to that, in addition to just being distracted. So you losing track of time, you might think it's because you're distracted, which is part of it. But sometimes, some of us, I guess not all of us, there is a part in the back of your brain. I don't remember which part. I can find out. I need to do some more research on this because it makes you feel like you're crazy. And I've talked to a boss about this, and this is other issues we can discuss. Do you disclose your ADHD in your work environment? It is a very tricky thing. I can't wait to have lives with you guys. And we can do all kinds of things. We don't just have to talk about ADHD and neurodivergence. We can be a community that supports one another. We can give each other tips of what works and what doesn't work. We can be a support system for each other. We are not a substitute for counseling if somebody needs it, especially if you are like me and you live with major depression. If you struggle with thoughts of harming yourself, or you've been so overwhelmed over the years that you don't think you'll ever get better, and it's come to that, please, I encourage you to look for somebody you can talk to. It's really important. Please think about it, because you're helping yourself, and you can always leave if you don't like the person. You can always try another counselor. Try to give yourself every opportunity. Think of it as another tool in your tool belt. Depending on the age group you are, and if you're a later diagnosed adult, I am turning 50 soon. I know I look younger than I am, but as a woman of a certain age and a certain generation, being a Gen Xer, me and then people older than me can have a really tough time being open to seeking counseling, because the way the culture was when we grew up, it wasn't normalized. It wasn't considered okay. Like there was something wrong with you. Why are you crazy? They're going to take you away. I think there was a song about that. They're going to take me away. Ha ha. They're going to take me away. Ha ha. Hee hee. Ha ha. Ha ha. So yeah, I think there's still a lot of stigma, but if you do decide to think about it, those problems aren't going away. And reaching out for help, whether you do it online through something like one of these BetterHelp or one of these online resources, or if you go through your health insurance, that's another thing too. I noticed that myself, Jen has struggled with this, just signing up and applying for health insurance. Tell me if you relate to this. Does this strike fear into your heart? I don't know what it is. Anything about that requires paperwork, any of these bureaucratic things like signing up for health insurance. Oh my God. It's like the same level of fear as attacking my piles of paperwork. Also, too, how disorganized are you? Do you have a house, a room, an office that looks like a nuclear bomb exploded and it's so bad that just going in that room and starting to clean it, do you have an anxiety attack? Do you start to beat yourself up? That's where I'm at. I would really like to do body doubling with you guys. I can't find someone to come body double with me. I mean, is that something that any of you would consider? And we can talk about that too. So, without getting into it too much, because I'd like to take this opportunity. This has been 20 minutes already. I want to take this opportunity to make this video. Yes, to update for my day 3 a little bit. I'll probably come back and do another one as well. But yeah, I wanted to give you guys a little information about what I'm about and what I'm looking for, and hopefully get more subscribers. And that way, if you start looking at my content I just started creating the other day, you might click on it and it's me like rambling about some of this stuff. There is a lot of information. So the ones that I started for the 30 days to a better me, from La La Land to successful, I'm literally just showing myself at my worst. Like right now I'm made up, right? Just like it's almost like a mask, you know? And the way I look in some of those videos is embarrassing. It's me at my worst. Maybe that's a girl thing, like guys don't maybe have as much pressure as far as their looks as women do. But, you know, I figured if I'm going to show myself at my worst and chronicle this journey, I might as well just show how I am when I'm here. What else? So I started doing that, but when I was here a few months ago, when I started my channel, before I took this leave of absence, I started to do a couple of other things. I do want to do 2 different series of videos. I'm going to revisit that. I'm going to watch some of my old videos and revisit that. I would like to do some informative videos that show you some tools of things that have helped me over the years. Planners, charts, and I'm going to have like 2 different like levels of it, because, you know, if you've tried those things before and the word planner or calendar sends fear and overwhelm to you and you're like, ugh, I can't deal with that. I get it, you know. And some of us have it much more severely than others, and some of us have different symptoms from each other, as well as it being hyperactive or, you know, inattentive or both. Plus, also, I'm just bringing this back, saying this now, there was a educational group I was a part of for 6 weeks that had a lot of useful information about ADHD, which will like blow your mind, you know? So I would like to put together a series of videos for that. So I haven't decided how I want to organize these things, but I just wanted to let you know about them. So when you see these really long, rambly videos from my 30-day journey, just know that that's kind of like a diary and that might be boring, but that's not what a majority of my content is going to be. That's just something I'm doing right now. So keep an eye out. I'm going to be doing a bunch of shorts. I already have been developing I have a folder full of things that I want to comment about from others and do like little, you know, and maybe like little comedy sketches and stuff. There's more things to come, and I'm open for suggestions. Also, when I do lives, some of the things that I was looking forward to doing that I kind of missed out because I had a burnout and I had to take some time off of work. When I go live, I really would love to go for walks with you guys, or, you know, I live near a lake and we could go kayak riding and I could show you the wildlife. It is absolutely beautiful. So please comment below, let me know what you need, what you would like to work on, and how I can help you, how we can help each other. And look up body doubling and see if that's something you would like to do on lives. That as well. And briefly, body doubling, if you're new to YouTube community for people with ADHD, you're new to being diagnosed and you don't know what that is, body doubling is a technique that helps us. One of the things that ADHD is most of us tend to have a chronic deficiency in dopamine. And without getting into it too much, and I know I've discussed this in the past, dopamine is crucial for your mental functioning. And it's also the chemical that fuels you to even have motivation. So when people say just do it, or you should just try harder, if you don't have enough dopamine, you can't. It's like a car that ran out of fuel. Your brain is an organ. It needs these chemicals to work properly. So when we are by ourselves, and I don't know about you guys, but I self-isolate because I'm embarrassed and I don't want to deal with it, so I hide. So if we already have low dopamine and we're distracted and we can't think straight, what makes us think when we go into that storage unit or that basement or the office that we've been meaning to clean out, and we sit there or stand there and look at the boxes and the piles? Like, what makes us think that we are going to be able to do that, right? Well, this is where body doubling comes in, helps. I'm not really sure exactly how it works, but I hear it works. So just having another person with you, it hijacks something that we have in our brain. I don't know how it works, but having the excitement of having somebody else doing their own thing near us, or just the novelty of it, it does something. It boosts our dopamine just enough so it starts working again. And so that's similar to if you're in college, if you go into a library. For me, I would have to go to, if the library was too busy and people were walking around a lot, I couldn't do that. But sometimes, and places like Starbucks and things like that, people that would come there, get their coffee, sit down and pull out a laptop and do their work. If going to a place like that helps you to get into that mindset, that's what body doubling does. So we can both have our screens on and do our own thing. And I want to learn more about it. Or if you would like, I can make some videos where I'm going to start coming up with some framework of how to tackle our messes and how to decide what's most important, because that's executive functioning. It's like the secretary that decides what's the most important thing today and we don't have it. I have a little tool that my counselor gave me. It's a chart and I can talk to you about that as well. Yep, that what I meant to say before. Forgive me for being all over the place. It's part of what we got. The group I was in, each week we went over a different topic that ADHD people tend to struggle with. So the first week was the anatomy of the brain. I already knew about the frontal lobes being very important for impulse control, attention, and executive functioning. But I didn't realize that there were other areas of the brain that are physically different in our brain and work differently. So when you can't just suck it up or you can't just make yourself do something, a lot of times what can happen is, as for me, if I try to force myself to do something, then my brain just shuts off. And there have been brain scans footage of this. It's like a neurotypical person and an ADHD person, and shows their brain, shows the frontal lobes, shows the person with ADHD has lower activity because we have chronically low dopamine, so it's not going to work. And I think the size of it's a little different and the functioning's a little different. And then all of a sudden, these two people were giving a task to do. And the more they had to pay attention, the harder it was. The neurotypical person could force themselves to do it somehow, but the neurodivergent ADHD person, all of a sudden the blood flow or the activity just shut off. So you are not crazy. And when we were growing up, going to school, if you're older like me, they didn't know about a lot of this stuff. So if you think about how work environments are set up, social expectations, work politics, how we do our work, our brains work differently. You know, they have to have you be there at a certain time. Everything's regular. And our minds are very creative and they're different. So sometimes it's really hard for us to function in this neurotypical world. So, well, I've been speaking for half an hour and I'm going to go ahead and post this so you guys can see it. And hopefully this can give you a little bit of an idea of that you aren't alone and that I would really love us all to be able to help each other. And I need help from you guys too. You know, I really, really do. Please subscribe. I really would love to grow this channel and become a community. You know, because I don't want to deal with it by myself either. I don't think we can do it alone. I mean, for me, counseling by itself, I needed it. I do need it. And luckily, my counselor is neurodivergent herself. So this helps me immensely have the correct perspective when I'm really beating myself up that I'm not being realistic. I'm not seeing it correctly. So having that to bounce off of is critical, and having a professional who really understands these things really helps. It supports you. It really, really does. And then also too, if you need medicine, you know, it's very important to have them. But that alone, up until this summer when I actually started posting, which I never was going to do. I was embarrassed. I wasn't going to do that. I didn't want to expose myself. But then I thought, there's got to be other people like me. And I will tell you all the things I struggled with by myself, without any kind of help, without any kind of owner's manual, without any kind of and I had limited success with some of the tools that I tried. I've got some horror stories I can tell you guys too, if you want to hear it. We can do story time. We can share. And we can discuss things like how ADHD affects you in the workplace. How does it affect you in your relationships? How can you better communicate with your spouse, your partner, your significant other? How does it interfere or affect you in your relationship with your children? What are the things you can control? How do you talk to your family about your diagnoses? You know, and I find for myself that that is still challenging because, as for me, I still have to explain things to my family members on a regular basis. I think, like, if I explain it the one time, they can just translate it and figure it out, and they still don't really get it. And I have to be patient and understanding myself to know, well, of course they can't translate it to what it would be like to be me because they have not experienced life like me, you know? So I know that in my family, ADHD runs in my family, but it seems that within my immediate family, you know, my father's now passed, but now it's like my mother and my fiance. I am the neurodivergent, and the people around me are neurotypical. So I didn't have anything else to, not that we should ever compare ourselves to people, but to kind of get an idea of where I'm at and what's normal, what's not normal, what's neurotypical, what's not, what's neurodivergent, what's not. Am I insane? Am I just lazy? Am I feeling sorry for myself? Am I jumping on this bandwagon and I should just fucking suck it up? Well, you know what? I've been trying to suck it up my whole life. And that doesn't help you, because what you're saying to yourself by doing that, you could do it if you want to, right? It's not learning about what that invisible thing that is effing with your brain and your ability to function is. It's there. It's not going anywhere. Can you fix something that you don't know is there? And people like your boss and your family that get impatient and judge you and think you should just be able to do that. They mean well, they don't know. They don't know. So yeah, it can be a whole can of worms. And then also the misconceptions, you know. There's so many prejudices out there. There's like the two sides of it. One is like it doesn't exist. And then the other side is, oh, everybody's got ADHD. No. No. Can you sit on a couch, scroll through your phone, and then not look up and it feel like 5 minutes and be like 4 or 5 hours later? Does that happen to you? No. Are you constantly forgetting about your food and burning it? Are you constantly putting loads of laundry and forgetting and then you never put it in the dryer? Are you constantly running late for work and then no matter what you do, you end up, the more you try, the later you get? Are you constantly exhausted, stressed out, wondering why you can't hold? You know what I mean? And then people just think it's just being distracted. It's not. It's really, really not. It really affects everything. It affects, you know, how you get up in the morning, and we don't form routines very well. I did find there's part of the brain, again, it's a different part of the brain, but I recently found out, maybe a month ago, there is a part of our brain that the point of it is to help people form habits, make certain things automatic so that the cognitive functions, like the thinking functions of your brain, are not getting exhausted on too many things. That's why the average person, the neurotypical person, they can be an autopilot for a lot of things. And there's a specific kind of like neuron that does that. And it turns out that people with ADHD have much fewer of those neurons in that part of the brain. So there are actual physical differences in our brain. Yeah. So yeah. So there's lots to talk about. If you are new here, if I haven't said it, my name is Sherry. I would really love it if you subscribed. I would really love to tell anybody, friends or family that have ADHD. I am putting the most embarrassing parts of my life out there. And I'm sorry if some of it's boring, but let me know what's helpful and what's not, and I will try to change my content accordingly. I want this to be something we can all use, not just for me. And I hope you guys are having a great day and just know you're not alone, and we can help each other together. I think it's so important. And please don't just help me out too. Just let me know you exist. So I don't, because I'm here too, kind of in the same boat. So know that you are beautiful and you're meant to be here. And there are gifts that you have that you may not even know. There are things that you can do in the world that you may not even know. And there's a reason that you're here. If you compare yourself to regular people, neurotypical people, you're going to feel like a failure. You're not. You're a different kind of person, and that's okay. You're neurodivergent. And I love you guys, So we're all part of a community here. And I don't think that we can help ourselves without connecting to each other and supporting each other. I think it's important. And I thank you guys so much for visiting me, and I hope you have a wonderful day. And for those who know Genevieve, I might be doing a live with her later, so keep an eye out for that. See you guys later. Have a great day. Bye.